Hello, hello, hello. Check 1 2. 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 Hello, hello, hello. All right, check 1 2. 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 All right, I gotta check, double check, and make sure that all my settings are right here. Let's try it. Okay, it sounds like I can hear myself. So maybe this thing's going. Okay. I'm trying to get this going on Facebook. Not guaranteeing that it will, but we'll try it. Okay, so I think that's going. Sorry, folks. Got some new equipment here, trying to get it, all the settings and whatnot figured out in Open Broadcaster. So we're gonna try it here. Sorry, folks. I'm not exactly the greatest here. I'm kind of a noob. Let's see. We need to check my focus here. All right, stream health looks good. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I've built one of these before. This is just a little Christmas tree kit. I got off Banggood. If you go through all my Facebook posts, it's called Project Tannenbaum. It's just a little LED flasher kit. It's got some little tiny LEDs in it, some transistors, resistors, there's a switch here, and a mini USB port. Now, just a little bit of a disclaimer: you're going to hear noise in the background. I originally was intending on having the background commentary be the ham radio Santa Claus net on 3.916 lower sideband. But from the sounds of it, the propagation just isn't there this evening. I'm hearing a couple people going back and forth talking about how they can't hear the net. And a bunch of people tuning up. but the rest is just all static. So the only other thing I can think of is that they haven't started yet, which normally I believe they start 7:30ish. Yeah, there's somebody there. I'm not sure if that's the right thing, but propagation really hasn't been the greatest. The band's been going long at the most at the wrong time, basically. So haven't been able to hear much. There was some on last night. That's pretty much how you want to say people that are really close. That's pretty much it. Had hell of a time getting to the net controller. So I don't know. We'll figure that out. I see that Dustin is here, saying, "Hey, hey." Okay, let's see. All right. So, if I remember right, this is board A. We're going to start out. Let me clean soldering iron, get it ready to go here real quick. Get our multimeter out here. Since these weren't marked, we're going to go with the resistors. Board A, resistor 2, 4, 6, and 7 are 100 ohms. So let's go. Check and see what we got here. Okay, these are the 100 ohm resistors. So I'm going to mark them here. And these ones, by default, should be the 4.7K ohm resistors. So, board A, resistors 2, 4, 6, and 7 are all 100 ohms. So we're going to start there. I need 4 of those for this board. So get the base plate and the other board out of the way. Double check here, see who's in here. I need to lock something down here on the focus. We're out of focus. Of course, why won't you focus? Well, maybe. Alright, screw it. We're just going to go with it. Okay, so as I said, and we're gonna play the no focus game here again. Board A, resistor number 2. Now, there's no certain polarity to these. Put it right, y'all. Resistor 2, resistor number 4. It's right here. I hear a couple people talking on the frequency. Couple of them. They're not really exactly coming in the greatest either, so I think the Santa net tonight may be just a pipe dream. Two, 4, and 6. 2, 4, 6, and 7. We got one more to go here. All right. We're good there. 2, 4, 6, and 7 resistors are all in place. So, that being said, we need 3 of the 4.7K resistors to go in resistor spots 1, 3, and 5. So there's those 3. Number 3. Resistor number 5. Alright, so we're ready to bring some heat here. Clean the tip. Make sure it's ready to go. We're nice and hot. Let's see, how am I going to attack it? We'll go right here. There's that one. Doesn't take very much. Let's see. We're going to go in that one. Nope. I'm not worried about that lead. It can be trimmed later. I have to get that off of there, though. That's for sure. That's a little bit of a messy one there. Let's see, miss this one here. Gonna hit it real quick. I got a little cling on there to clean it off real quick. And we gotta fix that out real quick. Grab my cutters. Wherever they may have disappeared to. Well, I did have cutters. Where did my cutters go? Alright, well, we'll have to make do with what we got right here. Hang on a second here. Well, it appears that my cutters have grown some legs. All right, we're just gonna keep going. We can fix that stuff later. So, let's see. All right, so those are all soldered on. I'm gonna hit this one over here. Just a little tiny bit more solder. Looks good. Ooh, solder smoke. Don't breathe this. Yeah, I got a little bit over that LED hole. Grab some braid real quick. Well, that braid's not going to take care of it. And that hole's good. All right, so man, I do not know where those cutters. I know I had them the other day. All right, snip them off just and come back later when I find them and trim them and give them another trim job there. Component leads flying everywhere. Alright, just inspect our work here real quick. I'm going to hit this one real quick. Okay, so our resistors on board A are done. Looks like they all have a nice fill in there. Okay, so now we're going to put the capacitors in here. Now, I'm not sure. Let's see if I pull it up here. There's a positive and a negative lead on these capacitors. The long leg is the positive, and the short leg is marked with white, and the short leg is the negative. So we're going to pop that right in here into capacitor slot 1. And all these capacitors are all the same in the kit, so we don't need to worry about what goes where or worrying about that. Alright, so our capacitor is in. Now we're going to put in the transistor. Sorry if my multimeter's beeping at me. Oh, almost put that in the wrong way. All the transistors are the same. Alright, so we're going to bring the heat to them. And then after that comes the extremely tedious part. I think I'm going to swap out my big spool of solder for my tiny one. It's a little bit thinner stuff. Also, I'd like to give a quick shout out to my cousin Ryan. 3D printed me some solder spools with his Lulzbot Mini. Really makes things a little bit easier as compared to having the whole thing roll across the desk. Not exactly the greatest way to go. Turn the tip a little bit. Alright, so start out with center pin on this one, center pin on this one, let's see, center pin on this one, just to get it locked down. Now, this item that I'm building, you should be able to see. It's right over there. So that little thing flashing away. It's not wanting to focus for some reason, but hey, what the hell? We know what it is, right? Building that. Just a little LED flasher thing. It's going to do the same thing, same kit, same everything, just the extra one I ordered. So, well, I can hear the net controller of the Santa net. So I might have to figure out something for tomorrow night to, depending if propagation's with us or not, but to live stream it a little bit tomorrow. That one's just a bit of a nasty one there, kind of bridged over. Nothing this solder sucker can't fix. Okay, we missed a couple over there. Nope, we got those. Okay, so those all look good. Okay, now the tedious part. I think probably the hardest part of this kit is the LEDs. They can be a real pain in the butt. You have to remember also, you cannot put the LED at the top of this kit in just yet. Otherwise, you won't be able to slide the two boards together like they should. You know, kind of like that. So just have to be careful. Make a note to self to not do that. Now let's see. Yeah, you got that right. My sister commented on the link on Facebook. All he wants for Christmas is a new pair of cutters. They've got legs and know how to use them. That's damn right. My sister has one of these trees. I built last year. I believe it was Project Tannenbaum Take 2. Her students love it. And just also a little bit of a, hate to toot my horn a little bit here, but this little snowflakes I built seemed to be a very popular hit with everybody who received one. All of my followers and supporters on Facebook pretty much had the first grabs at them. Oh, we got one resistor that popped up here. I'm going to reflow that solder a little bit. Try to get the set lay down a little bit better. There we go. Well, let's see here. Alright, so good on all those. Hard part time. For little tiny LEDs, the long leg is the positive. I usually just push them down until they lock in there pretty well. And you have to keep in mind that these have to be bent outwards on the kit. That way they shine outwards, otherwise it's no good. Yeah, Santa Net's coming in good now. Looks like it's about 5 over on the S meter. So we'll definitely have to get something hooked up for tomorrow night. Yeah, if I can get it to go. There we go. Bend it out a little bit. Let's see. Ooh. Oh, look at that. Unless I don't put blood, sweat, and tears into this project. Yeah, that got me a little bit there. And them little component ends are pretty damn sharp. Okay, this is one where I might have a little trouble. A little bit of that solder issue again. Let's do a little bit of flux here. I was hoping to do this project with 0 flux. Just a quick comment. I'm hearing some interference with a Santa Net from a QRMer playing music over the frequencies, which is prohibited in the first place. Kind of subtracts from the fun there. Shows kind of one of the bad actors of ham radio. Kind of sad, honestly. Heard it a couple times before on the hurricane nets. I believe it was when Michael came through this year. Heard it quite a bit. Kind of ridiculous, if you ask me. Very, very sad, and it's still continuing. I hear harmonica and country music playing. Disappointing. Alright, so there's our LEDs. Get some heat here. Tip's a little gnarly looking there. Alright, let's go with this. Yeah. Somebody talking in there, making it over the music here. Oh, I hear Santa Claus. Alright, well, there's one bad joint right here. I need to reflow a little bit. Looks good. One little tiny bridge there, which we can't have. Solder smoke, don't breathe this. No, I'm just kidding. There's not enough lead. Basically, in solder smoke, it's not the lead you have to worry about. It's the flux that's within the rosin. And people are kind of freaking out over the whole, you need to go, you got to use lead-free solder. Well, lead-free solder flows a lot better, and the impact on the environment really isn't all that much. The main issue with leaded solder is all of the discarded electronics that are going in the landfills. RoHS, RoH, whatever that is. Throw a big fit about it. They said, oh, well, lead pollution. You had leaded solder and electronics and what have you. But in this kind of instance, not really a big deal. I'm using 6040 solder with no clean flux by MG Chemicals, 22 gauge. I picked up at Micro Center. It's kind of my favorite. The other stuff is really kind of too big for me. I usually use it on connectors. It's a 16 gauge. You can see 16 gauge solder versus the 22. I seem to, everything I have is MG Chemicals when it comes to soldering supplies. I usually just tend to pick a brand and stay with it if I have results. I hear Kester is also another good brand. And then Multicore, Loctite Multicore is another good brand, but I haven't been able to find it around here, and it's fairly expensive too. So very low budget, if you get my drift. This is just a way to learn. I'm not going for professional here by any means. It's one of my Elmer says. It's probably not an exact quote, but I'm an expert at nothing, because being an expert implies that you know everything, and that's not true by any means. So double check that. Make sure I didn't pull too much off of that. I'm going to hit that again just a little bit. Alright. That little thing needs to be out of there. Yep, messed that up. Alright, all our joints look alright. One there's got a little bit of a bump there. Okay. What I'm going to do next is put my multimeter in diode mode. I'm going to turn it on first. Get them the right way around here. Check it, and it looks like we're good. Meter that I use, it's one I got off of Banggood. I got a coupon. I think I paid maybe $5 for this really nice meter. It's got a non-contact volt alert. I can't do anything with it right now, but it's got a light that lights up across here. Really nice meter. I enjoy it. Auto power off. Backlight lights up. Really enjoy it. For really feature rich, really good meter for what I paid for it, to be honest. Chinese name, but it does what it needs to do. That's all that matters. Oh, let's see. See what other kind of comments I got going here. Oh, let's see. Oh, no, not a lot of comments going on right now. I've got 2 people watching, and that's 2 people that I probably didn't have earlier. Okay, so there is board A populated and soldered. Looks fine. Looks fine on this side too. Even them out a little bit. Looks good. If I knew where my cutters were, I could cut the ends, cut the leads off. My cutters have disappeared. I think maybe the elf on the shelf took the damn things. Who knows? Alright, so let's go to... You know what? Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's go to the base plate. Let's do the base plate next. This is just a simple part. Switch. Simple on and off switch. Goes here. And how I normally do this. Take a piece of tape. Keep it from falling out when I solder it. I do not have Kapton tape. All the purists are going to freak out. Like I said, I am not a professional by any means. I'm just learning. Okay, so that's there like that. Right here. A little bit bigger of a joint here. Yep. Alright, so that's tacked down. Put a little bit more on this just to be sure. Now the micro USB port, it's a little bit more difficult. The pins here on the back are a little harder to get. And you'll see what I'm going to do here in a second. There. Alright, now that's tacked down. That's being held on by tape. These little pins barely protrude out of the bottom of the board for the micro USB port. So what I like to do, take my rosin flux pin here, go over just a little bit, and put some flux on here, just to make my life a little bit easier. Then, go ahead and tack that down there, and that there. And remove the tape, so I don't melt the tape. That's a little whopper job, but it works. And here's the fun part. Hitting those little tiny pins without bridging them. It's a little bit of a challenge how small they are. Looks good. And that is why flux sometimes is your friend. Reflow that just a bit. Looks a little weird there. Alright, so there's the port. Now, just for good measure, make sure it's good and juicy. Just a little bit more flux there. Ooh, a little too much. Get off of there. Let me 1 second here. Gotta do cleanup crew. This stuff is pretty sticky, hard to get off once it dries. So I like to be a little bit proactive and get it off there. All I'm doing is using a little bit of 91% Equate Walmart brand alcohol to get it off of here. Seems to work good. It beats paying $20, $30 for a bottle of flux cleaner. That's pretty much the same thing anyway. And you pay, I think it's like $2 or $3 for 16 ounces for it. Buy it. I usually buy 3 or 4 at a time. And just stick it in a drawer. Alright, so turn the tip a little bit here. Man, way too much flux there. You know, I kind of think it's a little funny. I remember as a kid waking up on Saturday morning and watching Bob Ross. And he always said, "Oh, happy little tree, happy little trees here. Guess what? We're building a little happy little tree." A little bit more over here on that pin. Let's take a look. This back pin needs a little bit more. Let's use a bigger wire here. Whoop. Alright, looks good there. Touch that one just a little bit. Make sure it's not bridged. It's close. Touch too much. Man, that solder sucker is a lifesaver. All right, looks good. All right. Just for good measures here. Cleaned off. Yeah, Santa, that sounds okay. Still not the greatest. If any of you ham operators are out there and you want to give them a listen, they are on 3.916 lower sideband. And what they do is they're a regular nets, the 3916 freewheelers and tailgaters net. They usually meet every night on that frequency. Big group of hams, really big group of hams. And they have it set up to where you can go and log on via a website and sign up if you have kids or grandkids, and they can talk to Santa Claus at the North Pole. Now, Christmas Eve, they do the same thing with check-in. You can check in and talk to Santa, but Santa's mobile, so the kids can talk to Santa while he's out delivering presents and whatnot. Tonight, they're talking to Santa Claus while he's at the North Pole, getting all the toys for all the good boys and girls, packaged and ready to go. And for us naughty hams, they're getting QRM and static ready for all of us. So if you're good, you might have good propagation on field day. Yeah, get a nice clean up, still a little bit sticky. Alright, so far we're an hour into it. I just looked up at the timer. We're an hour and 42 seconds. Okay, so bottom board is done. Pretty simple. Alright, so board B. Resistors 2, 4, and 6 are 100 ohms. And there we need 3 of them. Again, no polarity issues with resistors on this one. Yeah, that's interesting. Forgot that my keyboard has magnets where it holds the wrist rest on. So my components leads are getting sucked up to the magnets. Okay, so on board B, resistors 1, 5, and 3 are the 4.7K. Okay, that looks good there. Alright, we look good there. Look good there. Everything seems to be sitting pretty there. I think all I want for Christmas is a new pair of cutters, and probably going to end up getting a new pair of scissors after this is all said and done. Daggone elf on the shelf stealing stuff again. Thieving little thing. Alright, everything there looks good. Why won't you focus? There we go. So there's the resistors populated. Now let's put the capacitors on. Again, all the capacitors are the same in this kit. You just have to watch the polarity. Long leg is the positive lead. Short leg is the negative. Alright, we get everything there. Looks good, so we can cut those off real quick. Everything looks good there. Sitting real pretty. And it's time for the tedious part on board B. I have a bad habit of that. I gotta watch what I'm doing here. Make sure I'm not pulling it off the screen. I keep doing. Nope. A little too far. Oh, I can hear Santa Claus. Can't hear the kid, though. I hear Pete KE5 GGY, the Wayback Machine, net control for the Santa Net. I hear him just fine. He's a little bit staticky, but that's kind of to be expected. He's talking to somebody named Sarah at the moment. Yeah, like I said, this is the tedious part. Part that seems to take the longest. And if you're still watching, appreciate you watching. And hope you have a good Christmas and a Happy New Year filled with health, wellness, prosperity, whatever your heart could possibly desire. Good propagation on field day, but we all know if you're a bad ham, you don't get good propagation on field day. So you better leave out some beer and steak for Santa. Talking to somebody in New York. Alright, so there's all the LEDs populated. Now we just got to bring some heat. So There we go. I hear a youngster now. Uh-oh, this kid wants a drum set. I bet his parents are also asking for an industrial size bottle of Excedrin. I got a little gunk there. I'll clean it off real quick. Tedious part, folks. Worst part of this kit, I think. All these tiny LED leads. Well, I won't say tedious, but time-consuming part. But it's a good little kit. I mean, if you want to learn. And my thing is I usually make something and give them away. As long as it works, I'll give it to somebody and say, hey, look, hey, I made this thing. Usually keep one for myself, just as a little memento of what I've done. And share it with somebody else, because I don't need 5, 6 of these kits sitting around. One's good enough for me. I've done a couple of kits so far. One did a star. 1-star kit. I have a spare in the drawer here for upcoming project or upcoming live build. Just a little something to tinker with. Little flashing LED heart kits. Let's see. And kind of another little heart kit that came in like a square plastic box enclosure for Valentine's Day. Let's see what else. The Christmas tree. I also did my first. I was talking about the snowflakes. That was my first whack at surface mount soldering with surface mount LEDs and components, what have you. It's a little bit of a challenge, I will admit. Also tried it with some solder paste and hot air, just to get the full effect. I've got the rework station here. I never used it except for like some heat shrink or something with a hot air wand. Worked a little bit of a difficult thing for me as the little surface mount LEDs wanted to float on top of it. Kind of made that just a little bit difficult, but looks like I might have missed one over here. Put a little solder on that. And we need to clean the tip. That one looks a little bit squint there. looks good there. Let's see what we can do to make this a little better here. Those look good there. Alright, so these two are supposed to go together, which is going to be impossible without the cutters. So I'm going to cut to a quick view of my little shack decorations here while I go try to find my cutters and see if I can hunt down the little elf on the shelf that stole them. Ahoy! I found them. I'm going to quote a line from Need for Speed. Can't remember the dude's name, but it's the rich guy. And Roman, they're out back eating on this dude in this dude's mansion's back porch deck or whatever you want to call it. And Roman steals the rich guy's cigar cutter. And if I remember right, the comment was, "And you, I'll take my cutters back." Alright, now I got the cutters, we can trim this stuff off. So many component leads flying everywhere. I kind of do it a weird way. Grab the leads, snip it, put it in a little tray up there. Seems to be a lot better than just letting them fly all over the place. Because they really hurt when you step on them. I've done it. It sucks. Everybody celebrate. I found the cutters. It's a Christmas miracle. Ooh, a little close on that one. I'll fix that here in a second. And this isn't like furniture from IKEA. They have plenty of leftover parts for me. Except if you want to read the Chinglish manual that came with it, go right ahead. Doing it again, pulling it out of view of the camera. Gotta stop that. Okay. So board B trimmed off. A couple things I wanted to hit right quick. So a little bit of flux to make things go smooth. I'm glad I saw that, because those two leads were bridged together. We'll fix it. Alright, our joints look good there. Okay, while we're at it, let's go ahead and get that flux cleaned off. Get it nice and clean as much as we can. Let me grab my brush real quick. There's a little bit extra on there that I don't like. If I don't like it, it comes off. Santa Claus is talking to somebody in Fort Collins, Colorado. If you don't know, that's where the time signal WWV comes from. It's the same time signal that sets your atomic clocks. I believe it's 5 megahertz and 10 megahertz, I believe. Kind of sad. One of the budget proposals for this year is from NIST, the National Institute of Science and Technology, NIST or whatever. They're the ones that run the time signal. They're removing funding for WWV, the time signal, so your atomic clocks and watches may not work anymore. Everything's switching over to GPS time, provided by GPS satellites, and web time, which, you know, your computer, your tablet, your cell phone, or whatever you're watching this on right now, almost guaranteed to use GPS time or net time from the internet. So I have a wristwatch that's runs on atomic. I put it in the window, and it receives that WWV time signal It automatically sets it for daylight savings time, sets the time, the date, all of that. Kind of sad. A lot of hams use it for testing propagation to see, what the propagation is doing, and for calibrating radios and such. Kind of a sad state of affairs, really. There was a petition out there to save WWV, but fortunately it didn't get enough signatures on it, and it was on that White House change or whatever. It's the one that the White House has set up to where you can go in and file a petition or whatever. Didn't get enough signatures, so I think it was officially dropped. I think like if you get so many signatures on your petition, Congress is forced to act on it, and it did not get it. So we'll see what happens. I was going to try to find an atomic clock kit, but what's the point of putting the money into it when you don't know if it's going to exist here in a couple months? Yeah, the band must have went long because everybody fell out. Not hearing anybody now. Nothing but static. A couple more here. Need a little trim. Trim that boy there. That one there. Alright, looks good there. Just keep in mind, folks, if you're watching thinking that I'm a professional, I've got news for you. I am not a professional. By far. Alright, I made a change to the camera there for the focus. It might be a little bit better there. It looks fine on my screen. I don't know about you all, but we'll give it a try here. Alright, so we're trimmed. Now, remember this one I told you about? Yeah, we got to put it on. But first, we need to line it up with these. So, the positive of this has to go here, the negative of this has to go here. So therefore, when we put it in, it must go in like this, because the positive must, for this one, must go there, and the negative must go here. So, go like this. Slide the two together, but you have a collision. Oh no, what are you going to do? This capacitor is in the way. So we have to move it just a hair. If I can, to get it out of the way so the other one can move past. There we go. So, positive, positive must go there. This is kind of where it gets a little tricky. You gotta balance it just so you can solder those two pads. Oops. Whoops. Let's try this again. No, not working in our favor right now. Okay, so let's just start over. Well, if we can. All right, you know what? Let's just get our braid. Let's get our braid and take what we can of that solder blob off there. See, I don't particularly care for this. Is the cheap solder braid. It does not work. Let me grab my good stuff here. A little bit of flux. And MG Chemicals Super Wick. Which for some reason, I think it works way better than that cheap stuff. There we go. I'd say that pad looks fairly clean. We might hit it just a little bit more here real quick. There we go. Cleaned off. So let's try it again here. That's got to go in that slot. If we can get it to go in the slot. Giggity. Oh, no wonder. Duh. Excuse me. Okay, now let's try this again. Positive, positive. That's right, shield. Negative, negative. It's not working out for us. Okay, so the next problem, the next area to look at is the slot there. So let's take this. And our braid. Well, if I can get the thing to quit moving around on me. Alright, now let's see if it'll fit in there. Well, what are we going to do here? Let's try something else. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Okay, we're going to do this a little differently here. And not screw it up this time. Alright, we got it tacked. So that's good. Let's just smooth it out. Put a little... Oh! Guess what? Well, maybe. And guess what? Back to it again. Alright, got that cleaned up. Okay. Okay, so let's try it again. Alright. You know what? Just to make things a little bit easier, let's try this. Put these on here, see if they help us a little bit. Alright, now just for good measure, Go ahead and get that cleaned off as much as I can before we go forward here. Clean off the base of the happy little tree here. Alright, let's try this again. There's one tacked. It's two tacked. It's three tacked. Get the other side here. Looks good there. Just for good measure, Alexa, turn on the air purifier. Okay, that looks good there. That one looks good there. Well, Santa's talking to a kid in Texas right now. Alright, so those connections look alright. I'm going to clean my tip here. Now, what I didn't do on the other one, and I think I'm going to try to do on this one, is to solder these bottom connections here to see if it makes any difference. Well, a little schmutz on the end of it. I don't know. I don't think that made much of a difference. But since we did it to one, we're going to do it to it all. Sorry, folks. Still getting this whole stream thing down here. Gotta learn to keep everything within view of the camera here. Looks good. Just want to check the other side. Make sure we didn't screw something up there. Looks alright. Alright, so I think we're ready for a moment of truth. You got a positive to the positive, the negative to the negative. Ah, almost forgot. That top LED. Point it right straight up. Paula Abdul. Get that out of the way. Almost there, folks. Almost there. Alright. Check the connections there. Looks good. Well, that one doesn't look great. We're going to try. We're going to hit that one and just reflow it just a little bit. Okay. Alright, well, that's it for the soldering part. I'm not even going to bore you with the case. Some Chinese man, whoever designed this case, designed it to where it's basically like a captive nut, essentially, and needs to be kicked right square where it counts, because it's a huge pain in the butt to get that case together. So we're going to go for a moment of truth here. If it works, cool. If it blows up, even better. This just basically just runs off of USB power. I got a little USB power bank here. Got juice in it. Okay. So, moment of truth here. Who thinks the damn thing's gonna blow up? And who thinks the thing is gonna work? I'm thinking it's gonna work. If it blows up, I'm cool with that too. So I got the power bank turned on, and I'm gonna push the switch. Well, it's got a sticky switch. Guess what? It works. You've got one LED right here. It doesn't work. One here that's not wanting to act up, which is kind of normal. I don't know. That might be a transistor problem. Yeah, I think it might be a faulty transistor here. Alexa, lights on. Let's double check the transistor leads. Does all look fine there. I'm going to turn it off real quick. That switch is definitely sticky. Alright, let's double check here. That looks alright. Ooh. Oh, I see a big problem. A solder blob on the bottom here. That's for safety's sakes. Let's go unhook it. It's going to be kind of hard to see. There is a solder blob there. I have a feeling it probably came through there when I was soldering the bottom. It's on the top, so I have a feeling it's probably bridged there. And that's a fairly large blob. I'm going to do this. That might be okay. So let's try it again. Yeah, we got something going on there. We might have a bad, the capacitor might be bad, or the transistor might be bad, or it could be the switch. The switch is a little chintzy. Well, everything's connections made there with everything. The thing that bothers me is that these LEDs are not blinking, and they should be. See, like these ones? So the problem is located on board A. So let's double check the screw up. You know what? I'm going to try this. Don't know that it's going to work. Interesting. Okay, so pretty sure the capacitor is fine. It looks fine. I could be wrong. See, that one looks good too. Hmm. Just touch the pins of the resistor there. Make sure everything's seated, or of the transistor. Woo! Almost. Almost got my finger. I'm not sure. I can't quite tell about this capacitor. Part of me thinks that it's okay, but the other part of me, not so much. Ooh. Even worse news. So something is wrong on, definitely wrong on board A. And I have a sneaking suspicion that it's that capacitor. So everything looks fine. I know we're getting power. We're getting the right amount of power. Because board B is working perfectly as it should. So there's something definitely wrong on board A. I'm thinking it's either going to be... almost guaranteeing it's going to be capacitor 1 right here. The one that's got dripped on. Or one of the 3 transistors. Let's see. Nothing bridged there. Oh, dang. Think I found it. There's a nice solder bridge right here on Q3. Right there. And I totally did not see that. That could be a problem. For good measure, let's go ahead and get some flux flowing here. Okay, sucker took a little too much, so we need to add some new solder here. Okay, so it looks better now. Alright, so let's try it here. Get the damn switch. Now we've got nothing. Oh, there we go. It's that switch. Okay, still have the issue. Man, that switch is tricky. Sticky switch. And I don't think I have an extra switch. Okay then, so switch is free. It must have had some gunk in it or something. Need a little schlickum there. Man, okay, so still the same problem on board A. Board A. So I'm almost guaranteeing, since I fixed that transistor, I'm thinking it's a bad transistor. You see, board A initially lights up, but then it switches over. Look. If you look at diode 11 and diode 5, right there and there, powered it on. You see how it switches? To me, that's either... I'm almost thinking it's that capacitor. Almost guaranteeing it's that capacitor. It could be a transistor, but... Okay, so where does D5 and D11 go? Okay, so we have a negative rail from Q1 down to the bottom ground rail. The middle of Q1, the middle pin of Q1 goes to resistor 1. The top pin of Q1 goes to the bottom pin of Q3. The middle pin from there goes over to resistor 5 there. Out. I need to figure out where there's R6. Resistor 6 goes D17, D11. So it's got to be something localized right there. Well, let's check. Let's check for continuity, see if we've got let's check and see if it's that capacitor first. See, that's the outside is negative. Well, now there's no short there. Maybe there is. Ah, we have a short. Hear that? Look. There's a short. So, with that being said, that's the capacitor that I really screwed up. So, pretty sure that means that capacitor has to come off. There is a short. I'll be darned. And that, ladies and gents, is going to be hard to get off. Okay. I need my tweezers. A little bit of flux flow here. Yeah. I don't know. This may not come out. I don't know. It's not looking too good. Yes. I don't know. That's in a really tough spot, too. Ooh. Yeah, that whole the case to that capacitor is coming off. So we know that we definitely have a short in this capacitor. So it's either blown or there's something shorted out underneath, which could possibly be, which more than likely is, my screw up when that solder blob went through. So how am I going to fix this? Because what it's doing is the transistor switching back and forth from capacitor to capacitor, and that's how you get the blinking, is when the capacitor discharges, it trips the other transistor to make the switch to turn this light on and charge and discharge, charge and discharge, charge and discharge. So it's definitely something shorted in that capacitor. Yeah, and she's not easy to get out. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's definitely. Now I get some light down in there. It's definitely shorted right there. Let's see. I gotta change soldering tips real quick. Hot, hot, hot. Where's Michael Scott with the steel drum when you need him? Oh look, a soldering tip case, 3D printed by none other than Ryan McQuillan himself. Alright, gonna let that heat up for a second. I don't know if I'll be able to get in there and get it or not. We will see. If you're watching on YouTube, please leave me a comment down there right now so I know if you're watching. I can see B-May89 and moderator in there, and Dustin. A couple of B-May's messages say retracted for some reason. I don't know what that's all about. I'm gonna wait for a couple more seconds. We're not quite up to temp yet. See, how am I going to get at this? Is that going to work? Maybe. Maybe not. Oh, come on, solder sucker, cooperate. I hear you. Okay. I don't know. We're going to have to find out. Would you believe it? No short there right now. Oh, timed out on me. Okay, so now there is no short there. So, let's see if we may have fixed it. Hot damn, look at that. Shit fire and save matches. Definitely works. I'll be damned. Well, that was interesting. And just goes to show that I probably shouldn't have done that.
Either that or protected it with some tape or something. Because the whole issue is that a solder blob was down here and it shorted out capacitor number 1 on board A. Yeah, that was a stupid mistake on my part, but hey, we've fixed it, at least for now, anyways. I mean, it looks a little squint there, but my one comment of do anything different. I'm not sure how I did if I did it on the other one either, but I should have allowed a little bit of extra length on the leg here to bend those down, so they're out of the way. Bend that one up into the slot right here. Definitely, I should probably definitely invest in some Kapton tape, the high temp stuff, to use. But yeah, as for right now, I say it works. I'm not going to bore you with the damn case, of course, but the case is just a huge pain. It's not even worth it, really. So, oh Christmas tree, lovely how lovely are your light emitting diodes. Just as a housekeeping measure, I'm going to go ahead and solder these two middle portions here. Whoop, where'd that come from? All right, folks. I think that's Murder, She Wrote. Just line them up. And there you have it. Alexa, lights out. Turn the ring light off here. And it works. It's blowing out the camera, but it does work. So, with that being said, I think that might be a wrap. 2 hours and 40 minutes. I think I'm going to leave you with a quick shot of the shack decorations again real quick. And I was talking about the snowflakes that I did, the surface mount project. That's what these hanging here flashing are. Those were the ones I was talking about earlier, how they were a little bit difficult. They can be programmed. It's like a little $10 programmer or whatever. Programmed like an Arduino type thing and change the flash pattern. I just didn't do it. I don't know how to code for Arduino yet. One of those things is on the to-do list in the future. If anybody has any good resources cheap or free resources on how to write Arduino and stuff like that, something that I might be able to understand, or like I'm more of a visual learner, or I have to do it to learn it. If anybody has any suggestions or anything like that, please shoot me an email or leave a comment or something like that. It's one of those things I'd like to learn how to do sometime coming up. So I think with that, I'm going to go ahead and end it. I'm going to end the stream and get stuff cleaned up. Probably try to put this thing in a case sometime tomorrow. I'll post a picture of it, of the completed case and everything, on Facebook tomorrow if you guys are interested. But for right now, it's done. So I will catch you all later. Thank you all for watching. If you stuck through the entire stream, you have more patience than a lot of people I would know. So really appreciate you watching. So with that, good night, 73s. Hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas. You may see me on the air tomorrow evening with some of the SantaNet if I can get audio stuff hooked up and rolling for that. So thank you for watching. Good night in 73s. It's KE8AFF. Clear.